What if I tell you that the difference between the people who win every deal and those who keep losing is not luck, not talent, but how they control their emotions and their silence? What if I tell you that you can walk into any negotiation, a job interview, a business deal, even a daily argument, and walk out winning every single time? This audiobook isn't just about talking smarter, it's about thinking sharper. It will teach you how to stay calm when others panic, how to listen when others argue, and how to turn silence into your most powerful weapon. Let's begin your journey to becoming unshakable, unbreakable, and unstoppable. Chapter 1. The Power of Silence. Your greatest strength isn't your voice, it's your silence. That the quiet moments, the ones you usually rush to fill, hold more power than 1,000 perfectly chosen words. Every great leader, every skilled negotiator, every confident communicator knows one secret. The one who controls silence controls the situation. Most people think power comes from speaking more, explaining more, proving more. But silence flips the game. When you stay calm and quiet, people can't read you, and that mystery pulls them in. They start talking more, revealing more, and before they even realize it, they've told you everything you needed to know. Silence is not emptiness. It's a mirror. It reflects the truth hidden behind words. In that space between sentences, people show their emotions, their fears, their intentions. Their body moves slightly, their tone drops, their eyes shift, and suddenly you see what's really happening beneath the surface. But silence isn't easy. It feels uncomfortable at first, like a storm waiting to explode. You'll want to speak, to fill the air, to defend your point. That's where most people lose. Because when you rush to talk, you give away control. Next time you're in a conversation, whether it's a business deal, a salary discussion, or even an argument, try this. Pause. Take a breath. Let the silence do the talking. You'll be surprised how much people reveal when they can't stand the quiet. Real negotiators don't fight to speak. They fight to wait. They use silence like a weapon and patience like a shield. They understand that when emotions rise, words become noise, but silence cuts through it all. Imagine this. You make an offer, then stop talking. The other person shifts, hesitates, maybe forces a smile. That's your moment, not to speak, but to observe. Their reaction tells you exactly what's going on in their mind. And when you finally do speak again, your words land like thunder after stillness, powerful, clear, undeniable. Silence gives you control of time. It slows the conversation down, giving you space to think while the other person scrambles to fill it. And in that moment, you stop reacting, you start leading. Remember this. When you master silence, you master presence. You don't need to prove yourself anymore. Your calmness proves everything. The loudest person in the room may get attention, but the quiet one gets results. So, train yourself to pause. Let others rush while you stay grounded. Because silence isn't the gap between words, it's the bridge to power. And once you learn to walk that bridge, you'll be ready for the next secret weapon every great negotiator must master.
Emotional control. Because silence gives you power, but without mastering your emotions, that power can destroy you.
Chapter 2. Emotions or your enemy. The real battle in every negotiation isn't against the other person. It's against your own emotions. The truth is, deals are lost not because people lack skill or logic, but because they lose control. Anger, pride, fear, and ego, these are silent assassins that kill your clarity when it matters most. You can have the best strategy in the world, but if your emotions lead, your judgment bleeds. Think about it. How many times have you said something you regretted just because you felt cornered or disrespected? That's emotion hijacking your power. Negotiation isn't just about speaking calmly. It's about thinking clearly when chaos hits. When you get emotional, you start reacting instead of responding. And in that moment, control slips away, not to the other person, but to your feelings. That's when impulsive words, defensive tones, and desperate offers creep in. The best negotiators don't kill their emotions. They manage them. They understand that emotions are energy. And like fire, if you control it, it gives you power. But if it controls you, it burns everything down. Let's make it practical. When you feel anger rising, don't fight it. Pause. Silence, just like in the last chapter, is your shield. Breathe. Recenter. Remind yourself, I'm not here to win an argument. I'm here to win understanding. That single mindset shift can turn confrontation into cooperation. Emotionally intelligent negotiators listen even when they're hurt or frustrated. They observe instead of explode. They don't chase validation, they chase clarity. Because power isn't in shouting louder, it's in staying calm when everyone else loses balance. Remember, people trust those who stay steady under pressure. When you remain calm, the other side starts trusting your logic more than their own emotions. You become the gravity that pulls the conversation back to reason. Control your emotions, and you control the pace. Control the pace, and you control the outcome. It's that simple and that rare. Every deal, every disagreement, every tough conversation is a test of self-control. You'll either be the storm or the one standing still while it passes. So the next time emotions rise, do what most people can't. Smile, breathe, pause, and let silence speak for you. Because when emotion leaves, strategy enters. And that's the turning point where amateurs crumble and negotiators rise. But there's another hidden key most people overlook. Even if you master your emotions, you still need to understand how to turn every conversation into a collaboration instead of a competition. In the next chapter, we'll unlock the win-win mindset, where the real art of negotiation begins. Chapter 3. The win-win mindset. That real negotiation isn't about defeating the other person, it's about creating victory for both sides. Most people think negotiation is a war. One wins, one loses. But the truth is, every time one person walks away angry, pressured, or betrayed, that deal was never truly won. Great negotiators don't destroy bridges, they build them stronger. Because they understand one powerful truth. If both sides don't win, both sides eventually lose. Think about it. When someone feels cheated, they'll never trust you again. But when someone feels valued, they'll open more doors for you than you could ever imagine. That's the real game. Negotiation isn't about taking more, it's about creating more. The win-win mindset starts when you stop focusing on positions and start exploring interests. Positions are what people say they want. Interests are why they want it. For example, a client says, "I want a lower price." But maybe what they really mean is, "I'm scared of overspending," or "my budget is tight this month." Once you understand the reason behind the request, you stop fighting over numbers and start solving real problems. Ask questions that open doors instead of building walls. What's most important for you in this deal? What challenges are you trying to avoid? These kinds of questions uncover hidden needs, and that's where real negotiation begins. A win-win deal isn't about compromise, it's about creation. You're not dividing the pie, you're baking a bigger one. When both sides feel understood, creativity explodes. New options, better terms, and lasting partnerships emerge. But here's the secret. To create win-win outcomes, you must first build trust. Be transparent. Be honest about what you can and can't do. Don't play tricks, play fair. Because in the long run, your reputation becomes your currency, and trust pays compound interest. You'll notice something magical when you practice this mindset. Tension fades, collaboration grows, and solutions that once looked impossible suddenly become obvious. That's when you know you're negotiating, not fighting. So, next time you enter a deal, ask yourself, how can we both walk away better than before? That single question turns negotiation into transformation. Because in the end, a good deal ends once the papers are signed. But a great deal keeps paying for years. Now you might be wondering, how do you stay honest and fair in a world where people lie, manipulate, and twist words just to win? How do you protect yourself without becoming like them? That's what we'll uncover in the next chapter. Ethics, trust, and integrity. The invisible currency that decides who truly wins in the long run.
Chapter 4. Ethics, Trust, and Integrity. Reputation speaks long before you do, and one dishonest move can erase 100 smart ones. In the world of negotiation, skill can get you success once, but only integrity can make it last. Because the truth is simple. People don't remember every deal you make. They remember how you made them feel during it. Negotiation isn't a battlefield of tricks and lies. It's a test of your values. Timeless success doesn't come from manipulation. It comes from trust. And trust is built, brick by brick, through honesty, fairness, and respect. When people trust you, they open up, share information, and become easier to work with. The deal flows smoother, the communication becomes clearer, and both sides win faster. But once you lie, even a small one, that trust breaks. And suddenly, every future conversation feels like walking on glass. The best negotiators don't see ethics as a restriction. They see it as a strategy. Because being ethical doesn't make you weak. It makes you predictable, dependable, and respected. And in negotiation, predictability is power. People prefer to deal with someone they can rely on, not someone they have to decode. Let's get real. You'll meet people who exaggerate, twist facts, or use guilt to pressure you. The moment you sense that, remember this rule. Never fight dirt with dirt. Because when you drop to their level, you don't win, you just lose your balance. Instead, call out dishonesty with calm confidence. Say what you see, stand your ground, and if needed, walk away. Sometimes walking away is louder than shouting. Ethical negotiators also know how to set clear boundaries. They decide in advance what lines they'll never cross, no matter the reward. Because a negotiator who will do anything for a deal will eventually lose everything that matters. Integrity isn't just about honesty, it's about consistency. Doing what you say, keeping promises, and owning your mistakes. Each time you do, your reputation grows stronger, and your name becomes a brand people trust. And that's the kind of power money can't buy. Because in a world full of fakes and shortcuts, authenticity is your greatest advantage. So ask yourself, are you building short-term wins or a long-term legacy? Because every choice you make in negotiation writes your story, and people will either whisper your name with respect or warn others with regret. Stay honest, stay fair, stay firm. Because in the end, trust isn't just part of negotiation. It is negotiation. And once you've built a foundation of trust, you're ready for the next phase. the one that decides whether your deals last or collapse. In the next chapter, we'll explore the art of preparation, where every great negotiation is truly won long before it even begins. Chapter 5. The Art of Preparation. 80% of any negotiation's success happens before you even walk into the room. That the secret weapon of every great negotiator isn't confidence, it's preparation. See, most people make the mistake of showing up and winging it. They think quick thinking will save them. But real power comes from knowing the battlefield before the war begins. Preparation isn't just about memorizing facts, it's about building control. You control fear, you control uncertainty, and most importantly, you control the direction of the conversation. Start by researching everything you can about the other side. Who are they? What motivates them? What are they afraid to lose? Because every negotiator, no matter how confident, has a pressure point, and those who prepare always find it. Next, define your goals. Crystal clear. Not just, I want the best deal. Be specific. I want this price, these terms, by this date. Because clarity kills confusion, and confusion kills deals. Then set your walkaway point. It's not a weakness, it's your safety net. Knowing when to walk gives you calmness under pressure. It tells your brain, I don't need this deal. I choose this deal. And that mindset alone changes your entire energy in the room. Also, prepare your questions. The right question asked at the right time can flip an entire negotiation. Questions reveal emotions, intentions, and opportunities that no amount of data ever will. And here's something most people never do. Prepare your silence. Yes, silence. Plan the moments where you'll pause, let the other person talk, and use that silence as a mirror that forces them to fill the space. Because silence is where truth slips out. Finally, visualize the meeting. Imagine how you'll enter, how you'll greet, how you'll sit, speak, and smile. Picture every possible scenario, both good and bad, and see yourself handling each one calmly and powerfully. That's not fantasy. That's mental rehearsal. And every top negotiator uses it to train their mind for victory. Remember this golden line. The one who prepares better wins quieter. Because confidence without preparation is arrogance, and preparation without confidence is wasted effort. You need both. So tonight, before your next negotiation, don't just plan what you'll say. Plan how you'll think. Because your mindset decides your moves. And once your preparation is bulletproof, you'll be ready to face the next test, the one that truly separates amateurs from masters. In the next chapter, we'll dive into the power of listening, how silence, patience, and observation can make people reveal exactly what you need to win.
Chapter 6. The Power of Listening. The smartest person in the room isn't the one who talks the most, it's the one who listens the best. Most people think negotiation is about speaking, convincing, and dominating. But real influence starts when you stop talking and start hearing. Because in silence, people reveal everything. Every pause, every hesitation, every small detail. It's a signal. And the one who listens carefully can see patterns others completely miss. Listening isn't just waiting for your turn to speak. It's reading between the lines. It's noticing what's not being said, the tone, the timing, the emotion. Because behind every word lies a feeling, and behind every feeling lies a motive. When you listen deeply, you gain the ultimate advantage, information. And information is the real currency of negotiation. Think of it like this. If you speak 80% of the time, you only learn what you already know. But if you listen 80% of the time, you learn what they know. And that knowledge can turn the entire table in your favor. To master the art of listening, use the 3 golden techniques. Active silence. Stay quiet longer than feels comfortable. Let them fill the space. People reveal their real thoughts when silence stretches. Echo listening.
Repeat a key phrase they just said. It shows empathy and makes them open up more. Example: them, we're concerned about delivery speed. You, delivery speed, that's your main concern, right? The single line can make them hand you the full truth. Emotional reflection. Listen not just to words, but to feelings. If they sound stressed, acknowledge it. Say, I can sense this deal means a lot to you. Suddenly, walls drop. You stop being an opponent and become a partner. But here's the trick. Don't fake it. Fake listening is louder than real words. People can feel when you're just waiting to talk. True listening builds trust, lowers defenses, and makes people feel understood. And once they feel understood, they start agreeing, not because you push them, but because they want to. Remember, negotiation is not about forcing outcomes. It's about guiding emotions. And listening is how you guide without resistance. So next time you sit across the table, resist the urge to dominate. Lean back, look, nod, pause, and listen like a detective. Because sometimes the loudest victories come from the quietest moments. Master listening, and you'll no longer chase opportunities. They'll reveal themselves to you. In the next chapter, we'll explore the psychology of influence, the science behind why people say yes, and how you can ethically guide them there. Chapter 7. The Psychology of Influence. What if I tell you that people don't make logical decisions, they make emotional ones, and then use logic to justify them later? Welcome to the Psychology of Influence, the unseen power behind every yes in negotiation. Influence isn't manipulation. It's understanding human behavior deeply enough to help others make decisions that feel right for them and work for you. At its core, influence is about connection. If people like you, trust you, and feel understood by you, they'll naturally lean toward your side. That's why the best negotiators don't start with arguments. They start with rapport. Smile. Use their name. Match their tone and pace subtly. When you mirror someone's energy, their brain releases oxytocin, the chemical of trust. And trust is the bridge to agreement. Another secret: people love to feel in control. So instead of saying, you need to do this, say, would you be open to exploring this option? It gives them choice, and choice creates comfort. Now let's talk about reciprocity, a psychological rule so powerful it's almost magic. When you give something first, information, kindness, or even patience, people feel a subconscious need to return the favor. That's why generosity often leads to influence. Then comes commitment and consistency. Once people say yes to something small, they want to stay consistent with that decision. Ask questions like, would you agree this solution benefits both sides? A small yes paves the way for the big one later. And never underestimate the power of social proof. People are followers of confidence. Show examples, share results, or simply say, others in your position found this helpful. That one sentence can turn hesitation into acceptance. But remember, influence without integrity becomes manipulation, and manipulation always backfires. Real influence uplifts both sides. It never forces or deceives. To master this art, keep your energy calm, words confident, and intentions clean. Because humans don't just hear words, they feel the energy behind them. When your intent is honest, your presence itself becomes persuasive. You stop needing to convince, people start convincing themselves. So next time you sit across the table, don't just aim to win a deal. Aim to win a heart. Because once the heart says yes, the mind follows naturally. And now that you understand how influence truly works, you're ready for the next step, the emotional battlefield of negotiation. In the next chapter, we'll explore mastering emotions, how to stay calm under fire, control tension, and turn pressure into pure confidence.
Chapter 8. Mastering Emotions. Did you know that your emotions are secretly controlling every negotiation, even when you think you're being rational? Negotiation isn't just about facts and numbers. It's about keeping your cool when everything around you feels like chaos. Your ability to manage emotions is often the difference between winning and losing. The first step is self-awareness. Know your triggers. Do you get defensive when challenged? Do you feel anxious when someone pushes hard? Once you identify these hot spots, you can control your reactions instead of letting them control you. Next, understand the emotional landscape of others. People make decisions based on how they feel, not just what makes sense. Notice frustration, excitement, hesitation, or fear. Responding to emotions, not just words, allows you to guide the conversation effectively. One powerful technique is strategic pausing. When tempers flare or tension rises, pause before speaking. This gives both sides time to cool down and think clearly. A calm response under pressure signals confidence and control, making the other party more likely to cooperate. Another tool is empathy. It's not about agreeing, it's about understanding. Say things like, "I see why this matters to you." Acknowledging emotions diffuses tension and builds trust. Finally, manage your internal narrative. Negotiators often lose focus by telling themselves negative stories like, "They'll never agree," or "I'm failing." Instead, reframe mentally. "I'm prepared, I know my goals, and I can handle this." Confidence starts inside your mind before it shows at the table. Mastering emotions also involves stress control techniques, deep breathing, visualization, or brief mental breaks. These simple habits prevent snap reactions and keep you in strategic mode. Remember, a calm negotiator sees opportunities that a stressed negotiator misses. Your emotional control is not weakness, it's power. When you master your own emotions and read the emotions of others, you can turn tense moments into breakthroughs and potential conflict into collaboration. In the next chapter, we'll dive into the power of silence, how holding back words strategically can give you a surprising advantage in every negotiation. Chapter 9. The Power of Silence. Did you know that saying less can actually get you more in negotiations? Silence is one of the most underrated tools in negotiation. It's not empty, it's full of power. Knowing when to pause and when to stay quiet can completely shift the conversation in your favor. After asking a well-thought-out question, resist the urge to fill the gap. Let the other person think. Often they'll reveal more than you expected: motivations, concerns, or even hidden flexibility. Strategic pauses are especially effective after making an offer or responding to a counteroffer. Holding silence can create subtle pressure, nudging the other party toward agreement without a single extra word. Another method is reflective silence. When someone shares something revealing, pause before replying. It shows that you value their words and gives you time to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. But silence must be used carefully. Too much can seem cold or manipulative. The goal is deliberate use, balancing quiet with active listening and meaningful responses. Silence also helps you read emotions and body language. Observing reactions while holding still gives you vital clues for next moves. It can also diffuse tension during heated moments, allowing both sides to reset. Cultural context matters too. In some cultures, long pauses are normal. In others, they may feel uncomfortable. Adjust accordingly to build trust and avoid misunderstandings. For example, one seller stayed quiet after a buyer rejected a price. The buyer then admitted to having extra budget flexibility, completely changing the negotiation outcome. Silence is also about patience. Negotiation is rarely won by rushing. Waiting allows conversations to unfold naturally and decisions to solidify. When used wisely, silence becomes a tool for influence, insight, and emotional control. Next, we'll explore building win-win agreements, the foundation for deals that satisfy everyone and create long-term partnerships. Chapter 10. Mastering Negotiation. Your path to lasting success. Did you know that negotiation isn't just about deals? It's about shaping your life, your career, and every relationship around you. In this final chapter, we pull together everything you've learned. Negotiation mastery is both an art and a skill, built through preparation, ethics, emotional intelligence, rapport, and strategy. Key lessons recap. Preparation. Know your goals, alternatives, BATNA, and your counterpart thoroughly. Communication. Speak clearly, listen actively, and ask questions that uncover true interests. Ethics and trust. Your integrity is your strongest asset. Always act with honesty, fairness, and respect. Emotional intelligence. Recognize your emotions and theirs. Manage tension. Stay calm and respond thoughtfully. Creative problem solving. Look beyond positions to satisfy deeper interests and expand the pie. Rapport. Build genuine connections through respect, shared interests, and cultural awareness. Patience and silence. Use pauses strategically to gain insight and influence outcomes. To-do list for mastery. Reflect after every negotiation. Note what worked, what didn't, and lessons learned. Practice regularly. Role play, simulate, and engage in low-stakes negotiations to refine skills. Plan thoroughly. Research, anticipate objections, and define priorities before each discussion. Strengthen emotional control. Identify triggers and rehearse calm responses under pressure. Seek feedback and mentorship. Learn from experienced negotiators and stay adaptable. Commit to ethics. Always act with honesty, fairness, and respect. Focus on win-win outcomes. Prioritize mutual benefit over winning at all costs. Negotiation mastery is ongoing. Each conversation is an opportunity to improve. Every challenge, a chance to grow. The more you practice, the more natural your skills become, and the more confident you'll be navigating even the toughest negotiations. Conclusion. Mastering negotiation is more than closing deals. It's about creating value, building trust, and becoming a respected influencer in every area of life. With preparation, ethics, patience, and self-awareness, you can turn challenges into opportunities and goals into achievements. If you found this guide helpful, don't miss out on more actionable strategies to elevate your skills. Subscribe now to get regular insights, tips, and techniques to become an unstoppable negotiator. This is your moment to take control of your negotiations, your relationships, and your future. Start applying these principles today and watch every conversation transform.